Homemade, huh?
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my video on tips on how to unlock the survival horror trophy and achievement. This video is intended for people that are familiar with the game and only need to see a reference guide. If you would prefer to see my entire 2.5 hour run to see a room by room play, then watch this video instead. To complete this challenge, you need to beat the game with either Jill or Chris on Real Survival difficulty, which has the following modifiers active. Base difficulty, hard. This means you take more damage and there's less beneficial items for the player. Storage boxes are not linked. Items placed in a specific box can only be recovered from the original box they were placed in. This requires players to be extra attentive where they leave their items behind. Auto aim disabled. When you press the aim button, your character does not automatically aim to the nearest enemy, you have to manually aim your character. The door that normally breaks in the eastern staircase does not break anymore and can be used at any point. One dangerous zombie does not trigger even if you have it active on other files. The infinite rocket launcher and infinite samurai edge are disabled in this mode. I will be mostly using the same route used in my don't stop running and running and pacing video, so you should definitely check it out if you're not familiar with the path. I will make note in the areas where the route will change compared to that video. I recommend you play this game with Chris as he has more health and he has many opportunities to get free healing. Now without further delay, let's begin. After meeting the first zombie and completing the introduction, pick up the green herb in the west wing stairway. After entering the mirror corridor, pick up the green herb and the green arrow. If you get bit here, don't heal yet since we're going to get an opportunity for that later. Run to the graveyard and get the sword key. If you get bit here as well, don't heal yet since we're still going to be waiting on that future heal. In the L corridor, get the dagger. This dagger can be used at any point you feel it's necessary and is only picked up in case you took too many hits getting here. Go to the bathroom and get the small key. Go outside and get the herbicide. Pick up the 2 green herbs, the 1 red herb, and make 2 full heals when combined with your other 2 green herbs. Run to the east wing storeroom and leave 1 full heal and your knife behind. Pick up the small key by the typewriter as well. Run to the library and get the dog whistle. Then return to the C corridor and open the door on the opposite end. One note about this room. Do your best to not allow more than 2 zombies to occupy the room. If a third one appears, reset the game and start again. You can also attempt to dodge the zombies if they start filling up, but note that it's going to be a little difficult. Run to the outside balcony and use the dog whistle. After using the whistle and taking out the dogs, use the herb box to fully heal. This box can be used a total of 3 times. Open the shortcut to the mirror corridor and get the armor key. Run back to the medical storage room and leave the pistol and full heal if you still have it. The following segment will be different from my other video. Use the armor key and go into the researcher's bedroom and get a small key. Run back and open the small storage room with the old key to get a flash grenade. You must not use this grenade until the Crimson Head, and if it's accidentally used, you must reset your game. Run to the greenhouse and get the first mask. Also get the 5 green herbs here. Run to the kitchen to use up the sword key and get another old key as well. Run to Richard and save him with serum. On your way to see him, use the armor key on the door to the outside patio, but do not enter. On your way to get serum, if you get hurt, don't heal unless you enter orange caution or danger. After saving Richard with serum, getting warped to the medical room, run back in and leave your full heal. You can carry your 2 green herb mix. However, if you were hurt during your run to get serum, get Rebecca to heal you as well. She can heal you a total of 3 times or until she leaves the room during the piano segment. Run to the attic and into the small dining room to get the music sheet. Use the 2 green herbs in the pillow room to make a full heal and have 1 immediate heal. Continue the story until you get the 3rd death mask in the armor room. After getting the mask, go to the east wing storeroom and drop off all items except the armor key and 1 old key. Run upstairs and enter the deer room. Enter the fish hook room and get the wind charm. Get the red herb. Enter the bedroom and get the green herb, combine it to make a full heal, get the small key and the ink ribbons. Return to the storeroom, drop off all items, and it's okay to save for the first time. After saving, leave with the 3 masks, the armor key, and an old key. Also take 1 full heal for the Crimson Head. During the Crimson Head fight, take it out with the flash grenade and then continue back to the storeroom. Once you're in the storeroom, get the wind charm and then continue until you hit the graveyard on the way to Lisa's hut. From there, get the magnum and leave the magnum inside the box in Lisa's hut. Afterwards, continue the game until you reach the guardhouse. Once inside, go to the storage area, drop off the crank, and pick up the grenade that's on the shelf. Run to room 2 and take out the zombie if you don't want to dodge him. However, you prefer dodging them, you can just save the grenade. Afterwards, get the key in the bathroom and go back to room 1. Before entering room 1, go to the guard break room and get the red book, the first aid box, and the green herb. Enter room 1 and get the control room key. If you don't have room, mix the first aid box with the green herb, which will give you a 2 green herb and a blue herb combination, and save this for later. While in room 1, make sure to get the self-defense gun. Even though it only has 1 round, it has a power of 5 magnum shots. We'll be using that for Plant 42. Return to the storage room and drop off any additional items you don't need, such as the herb combination and shotgun shells. Make sure when you leave the area you have 2 open slots, one for the key item and one for the shotgun. Continue the game until you get the gallery key and you come back to the first floor. Make sure to get the magnum rounds on the ground. After fumigating the gallery and getting the key to room 3, you can either save your game now in preparation to Plant 42, or you can do it after solving the book puzzle. I recommend you save just in case you miss the first shot with the self-defense gun, because the entire strategy revolves around making that shot. If you need any extra help in figuring out what Plant 42's attacks are, I do have another video that was originally intended for knife only runs. You should definitely check it out, and it'll give you some extra information as to how the particular boss moves and attacks. After defeating Plant 42 and getting the helmet key, return to the storage room and drop off the emptied self-defense gun. You won't need that anymore and you can't reload it. Make sure to leave the mixed herbs and the crank in here. We're going to use them later and we don't have to carry it with us if we don't have to. You can also save before leaving this area, that way you have a backup just in case something goes wrong later on. Before leaving the guardhouse, pick up the 1 blue herb that's on the shelf there. If you don't end up using it, you can just leave it back in the mansion, but it's probably a better idea just to have it on you in case you get poisoned by the snakes. Once you get back to the mansion, you can definitely take out the 2 hunters that are in the east wing stairway. You can usually dodge them, but sometimes you might not feel comfortable doing that, and taking them out still leaves you with plenty of ammo left over for the Yawn boss fight. Once you're done with the hunters, if you decided to take them out, go into the storeroom and drop off the blue herb if you didn't use it, or if you did use it, just go in and get a full heal. In my particular case, I took some hits, so I needed to use one of them, and then I had one as I ran around the mansion. After taking them out as well, I also had 15 shots total, so 10 in the shotgun and 5 spares. So if you have around that amount or a little bit more, you'll be fine for the next segment. Also, if you took the red herb that was right outside the Plant 42 boss room, you can definitely use that red herb with the following green herb after you open the door. That way you don't have to take one of your extra heals from down there, you just make one on your way to Yawn. After you climb down the ladder and get underground, you can just avoid the spiders, don't really need to worry about them, and pick up the shotgun shells on the right hand side. If you do get poisoned here, there's a blue herb right behind the door as soon as you continue, so you'll be fine. After taking the surface lift and getting into the battery room, pick up the flash grenade and the shotgun shells, and the battery obviously. For the magnum rounds, those are completely optional. I didn't need them at all, so if you want to come back for these, you definitely can. Before heading off to fight Yawn, go back to the medical storage room and drop off the battery and the red book just to give yourself 2 extra slots. If you don't have any full heals, check and see if you have any left over in the medical storage box, and you can take up to 2. So it's up to you if you want to have some extra ones. During the Yawn boss fight, you don't really need to worry about conserving your ammunition. We won't be using the shotgun again after this fight, so if you use it all up here, it's perfectly fine. The key to killing him pretty quick is just to bait an attack, run towards the door, and then just unload on him. Because he can't turn towards you when you're on that side. He always goes around and moves towards the bookshelf. So right here, he just completely opened to me, and I just take him out really fast. After Yawn, go back to the medical storage room and drop off the shotgun and shotgun shells. Make sure you leave with the red book, the blue book, the battery, and then the helmet key. That way you have 2 open slots, one's the red gem and then one's going to be for the box where you put the gem in. After you get the emblem key, simply use it on the study door and continue to the guardhouse. Once you're in the storage room, make sure you pick up the crank, and if you got poisoned, use the blue herb mix to heal yourself. If you didn't get poisoned, you should still take it with you because we won't be coming back here. If you have any saves left, this is also a good opportunity to save your game. Once all that's done, simply continue the story until you get the brown crank and start the next segment. After getting the crank, drop off the old green one in the item box and then get the ink ribbons. Make a save here and we'll use it as a backup just in case something goes wrong during the black tiger fight. Before continuing too far, make sure you have at least 2 open item slots because you need one for the flamethrower and another one for the cylinder. Once the black tiger fight starts, run to the other end of the room so he doesn't pounce on you and try to bait out an acid spit. Once you get some breathing room, just run towards the door and just shoot it with the flamethrower to get it open. You don't want to fight him, just get out of there as quickly as possible. If you end up getting poisoned, there's going to be a blue herb by the map as soon as you get out of this room. If you took a lot of damage, there's going to be a first aid spray behind the area where that boulder comes from on the next segment. After getting the cylinder, don't forget to pick up the flamethrower again. If you have any healing items you haven't used, just use them then and there, because you need that flamethrower to get out of here. When you're running through the black tiger room, just run past them, don't even worry about facing them at all. And then when you're back to the original room where you got the flamethrower, watch out for the hunter because he can take you out there. Once you get back to the item box, drop off the crank and then save your game one more time. After saving, drop off the ink ribbon in the item box because we won't have the room for it and it's better to leave it there. From this point on, just continue until you get out of the underground segment and you get the metal ring from Lisa's room. Once you climb out of here, don't forget to pick up the magnum we left at the beginning of the game. That's going to be the weapon we're going to use until the end of the game pretty much. If you have any saves left, go to the East Wing storeroom and save your game one more time. If you don't have any, then just drop off items. You have enough for the Spencer emblem and the 2 pieces to make up the second Spencer emblem. After opening the door with the Spencer emblems, you have a choice. You can either go back to the East Wing storeroom and the medical storage room to pick up your old items and drop them off in the storage box in here, or if you have everything you already need, then you just continue on with the story. For example, if you have any old healing items, full heals, I would definitely recommend you go back and pick them up. Afterwards, continue the story until you get to the lab. Once you get to the first item box in the lab, you have another choice again. You can either go get the items you had in the altar box and bring them back here. It does take about a trip or 2 to get them all back here, but if you chose to not get anything, then you can just continue as normal. Run to the computer room, but before that, the zombie that's in this little tunnel here, if you happen to already have a grenade on you, then just use it on him to get rid of him. That way you just guarantee that he's gone for good. If you don't have any grenades when you get to this point, then continue to the computer room, go to the back area and get a grenade from there, then use it on that zombie. After you get the lab key and open up both doors, when you're running past the zombie, if you don't have a grenade, like I do have one here, but if you don't have one, you can just use the magnum, shoot it one time and it will go down. The naked zombies, when they go down, they can't turn into crimson heads, so you can just leave the bodies alone afterwards. If you do have a grenade and it's your last one, I would recommend you just save it for the Chimera that's in the following area. If you don't have a grenade for this Chimera, you can also take it down with a magnum shot, but if you don't want to use your magnum shot, you just run over to the next room as if you were going to use the ammo disc, and there's going to be a grenade on the ground there. You can just go get that first, then come back and use the flash grenade on the Chimera. In order for you to use it, you have to wait for it to jump on the ceiling and grab you, and that's when you can use the self-defense item. Once you have the empty fuel canister and you get to the fueling room, the zombie that's in there, you can take him out with a magnum shot, and since it's a naked zombie, you know, it won't come back. But even if it did, you'd be out of there and you wouldn't come back at all. If you have the extra 6 shots that I had recommended to get earlier, you'll have plenty. You really only need 5 to take on the tyrant, and any more than that is just, you know, a safety net. When you're walking with the fuel canister, you can run 2 to 3 steps and you'll be fine. Then you have to walk about 3 steps to reset it. And this is, you know, just something you can practice on your own with a backup save file. But I think after 3 steps, it does go off. So you want to be careful not to run more than 3 steps. But if you want to practice this, you definitely can, you know, make a previous save just to have it there in case something goes wrong, in case you don't feel comfortable running it. If you prefer just to walk the entire distance, you definitely can, especially if you cleared out those 3 specific enemies that were in the way. Once you turn all the power back on and you're basically the room before the boss fight, if you have your magnum full ammo, any number of spare shots, even if it's already been used a little bit, and 2 full heals, that's more than enough to really just beat the game at that point. The tyrant itself goes down in 5. If you're having any kind of trouble, just, you know, because you don't have auto lock on, just run right next to him, hold the aim button, then turn towards him, and you'll be able to pretty much hit him, guaranteed. Even if he hits you, he he's just not going to do enough to be able to take you out fast. And look at that, he's down now. But yeah, that is basically beating Real Survivor. So if you have any questions, just leave me a comment. And if you have any kind of issue that I didn't really explain well in the video, again, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And yeah, thanks for sticking around.